Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. All right, welcome to the Innovation Unplugged podcast, part of the ACCS Innovation Center podcast. I'm here today. I'm Houston Blackwood. I'm here with Julie Frizzell and our guest, Lashun Wallace from Sumter County Skill Trades.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Man, we're good. Hey, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really excited about this.
Me too.
Anytime I see your name on the phone, I get a little fanboy, and I say that really because we do a lot of workforce, and I've been around it for 6 years now, and the energy coming out of Sumter County, coming out of York, coming out of your group is it's something, and there's a story, and there's a story brewing there, and I know good things are going to happen. So when we said, "Hey, we're going to do this next week," I'm like, I got to have Lashun on.
Yeah,
got to have him on. So this is really exciting for me personally, but I know for you too.
Yes, it is.
You are living this mission, so we're pumped.
I'm pumped as well, and I'm very excited to be able to express and tell people about what's going on in Sumter County.
Yeah. So this is completely unscripted, like everything else we do. We just figure it out, And so I know a lot about it. I don't know what you know about it, but before we jump into the meat of what it is, man, let's talk about some crazy stuff. So yesterday was your birthday.
Yes, it was.
You're like 25 or something.
About to be my second time in 25.
Yeah. Okay. And so.
Second time around.
And it was also Veterans Day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And tell us about that, man. Tell us about that background.
Well, I joined the military back in 2000. Come from a family of military veterans. My brother, cousins, uncles, everyone in my family joined the military. I was the only one lucky and smart enough to score high on the ASVAB to join the Air Force. After high school, went to the Air Force. My first station was actually Aviano, Italy. And that was something great. That was my first time ever on a plane, and as well as going overseas. And from there, I got to live in 12 different countries and over 30-some states.
You've seen a lot, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Good and bad.
Thank you for your service, first of all, most importantly.
What was your specialty?
I was F-16 avionics. I fixed computer components on aircrafts.
Okay. And so you did all that, but you're not taking that back to a college and teaching aircraft avionics and electronics? And
No, sir. No, sir.
Tired of it.
I can't do it any longer.
Sure. Well, I think you take that energy and that attention to detail, and just from all of our calls and texts and emails and planning sessions, I see that same focus. And I don't want to use a pun or be disrespectful, but I mean, really like just a laser guided missile coming in on this stuff, man.
You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're talking about, because you only get one chance sometimes when someone finally pick up their phone.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a mission and a goal.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit your target, then you may not get a chance to knock on that door again.
You're right. I'm going to tell that story about knocking on doors a little bit later.
Well, when I was sitting in your office that day, it was the day before the lab maybe, and Lashun called, you're like, hey, you got to hear this, listen to what he's doing. That for me was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, we've got to get this story out there. More people have to hear what's happening in Sumter County. It's amazing.
What exactly was the phone call?
Man, I don't remember. I think we were working on that second lab that you had or were about to have. I don't remember exactly, but we were planning something.
Okay.
To have a lab and have some equipment ready. And so I think it was a lab that didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But,
what we supposed to have the equipment.
Yeah, it was the end of it was a lot of stuff, but but
it was a day you had people at your house doing the online.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From your house.
Well, even with the first lab and every lab since then, I go gather whoever I can. If you don't have a computer at home, you can access on your cell phone. The tower can be down. Come to the house. I have a computer set up for you. Yep. You can sit over here on the couch. You can go in the office. You can go outside and sit on the patio. Wherever it takes, come get your work done so you can get this hands-on and get this certification.
That was amazing, because you're like, they're going to get this online module done. I'm going to make sure if I have to provide them chicken tonight, they're going to get this done.
Yes,
you were just like, I don't care how long they stay tonight. They're going to be here all night.
Yes, I will feed you.
Feed well, too.
Very well.
So and that's the thing, like the first lab, typically we say, hey, you got to have, your lab is this day. So a week out, you got to have this theory done. And for your first one, we didn't.
No.
And I was like, my inner logical Houston was like, oh, this is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then
I felt the same.
Yeah. And so like 3 days out, we're like, I don't know. And then like the night before, I think we had 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how are we going to choose who comes to the lab? And I'm like, Lashun, what are you going to do? And he said, I don't know. Because you knew other people. And so he said, I got it. And so we get there that day, and then, there's a hard conversation of, hey, you didn't finish on time. But people are like, okay, cool, when's the next one? And it just worked out. And so
it actually did. Because it was scary at first. Because it was a Friday, and they like, you got to have this many by Monday. And then Monday came, they like, we still haven't reached the numbers. And so you got into 3 o'clock. Before 3 o'clock, everybody just came through.
Yeah.
Everybody just came through.
Yeah. And, that's a community. That's the first time I've seen a community approach like that with just that many people. And that it didn't come from random. Like you knew these people.
Yeah.
So back up in a little bit. So this is all good intro, but Sumter County Skill Trades is your brand.
Yeah.
And that's your mission, your purpose. And you're living out that mission. Tell us about that. We only have about 45 minutes left, so we have other things to talk about. But give us the straight up Sumter County Skill Trades. What is it? Why is it? And let's talk about how we're going to make that happen.
All right. I'm gonna get a rundown on how I explain it to everyone. When I first moved back home, I saw a need. We in Sumter County, we as a community go through a lot. And that is personal, relationship-wise, financially, all of it, education, all of it. And I was trying to find a way to bridge that gap to where we're not always left behind, because we don't have employment. We don't have education. Even though we do have these things in our community, it's not utilized properly. Or some of these programs, like what the community college ACCS offers, we just didn't have access to it or knew about it. So I'm like, let's find a way to present this to the community, and let's see how they respond. So I just dropped an egg on Facebook just to see what my response would be. That response from the egg, I done grew a whole flock of I don't know
followers. Yeah,
just out of it nowhere. And these people were serious, and they held me to the fire. They were like, if you're going to actually try to bring these things into the community, and we actually can. We want to have access to it. So I luckily ended up meeting someone like Mr. Blackwood, and he was interested. He was just like, hey, you think you can do it? Let's try it. And I'm thinking,
he said challenge accepted.
He went head in with me. And with that type of energy following mine, because even though I have a vision, it sometimes takes someone else to see it as well, and to push you to move forward towards those type of things. And once my community started to see, like, hey, this is real. It just kept going, and it steadily is growing. And I just want to be able to help them to have an opportunity to be employed, because half of my community aren't looking to go to college. Half of my community don't even see themselves being able to get into the workforce. And for the ones that do want to either go to college or the workforce, I want to be able to present that to them and give them the opportunity and the chance to do those things.
So our audience, who's listening to this podcast, could be from anywhere in the nation, really. Where's Sumter County?
Rural Alabama.
There you go.
We're on the west side of Alabama. We are in a great location. We aren't too far from the interstate, major highways, good water system, and railroad. But we just are a small community with nothing around.
It's closer to Meridian, Mississippi than anything else.
Yes.
Beautiful country, though.
Yes.
Your place, I sent them a picture of that first lab. Chris, Julie's an outdoors girl. Southern girl.
Show me some land and some water, and you've hooked me. That's what he stood out there and said, look at my view today. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Because we work so many places, just by nature of whatever. And I sent this is my office for the day. It was a picture of standing by the pavilion, looking at the lake with the tree, and they're like, I know they all gave me shot me the bird probably, but so what else are you doing in Sumter County? So it is on the far west side of Alabama, and it's certainly super rural, but you've got a lot going on in that
Yes.
in that space. Tell us about the programs that you're running.
All right. Well, anytime I talk about my programs, I got to talk about my youth first.
Go.
We have partnered with the Alabama Extension and 4-H. We have programs throughout all the junior highs and the charter school in our county and the high school as well. We're trying to get our kids more involved into agriculture and learn about nature, forestry, everything. Reason being because now we don't have FFA, FHA, for, any of those things in our curriculum anymore. Mm-hmm. All of those things have been taken away. And it's harder now to get someone to go into those career fields in the future when you have to start off with someone in high school. If we can start out with the youth at a younger age, we can help those industries to grow, because now we already have someone that from the age of 7 to 18 now have a more clear vision of who they want to be, instead of waiting until later on to try to put those programs into their, into their lives.
So y'all are starting career exploration at a young age.
That's
so elementary.
That's part of what we're trying to do as Corvette.
So that's great.
Because we want to be able to expose them at a young age instead of waiting till someone become a young adult. Because once they become a young adult, I can't convince you or change your way of thinking.
Yeah.
They're stuck on something that their dad did or their granddad did, or they're just
and looking at the negative aspect. Yeah. Because some folks look, I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to. How you want to eat? And farming is not just raising animals; it's crops, it's everything.
So you got the youth, elementary to high school. What's next? What else you got going on down there?
Now we also are working on our agriculture. We're looking to build a commercial meat, fruit, and vegetable processor. We are going to have a community engagement meeting on November the 28th, and you all are more than welcome to come out.
I'll be there. Yeah.
There. So it's going to be great food, great time. And it's going to be a group of universities, community colleges, big industries coming out to look at the land, because we're wanting to use our property basically as a feasibility study. Mm-hmm. Whatever you think you can try to do from an acre to a 10 to 100 to 1,000, we want to show how you can be a part of the agriculture.
So you're going to show them, you're showing them your space, and you've got some pretty good diverse. You got pasture land, you got some forest, you got some clear cut now. Mm-hmm. Thanks to your last bulldozer course.
Yeah,
and roller.
Put them to work.
Yeah, but so you're also going to say, okay, you can take this 1 acre and try some random method of whatever of growing beans or fruit that doesn't normally grow in a certain way. And so when you say feasibility, you're trying new things to beat the food cycle crisis.
Because throughout the whole Black Belt area, if you look, everywhere's a food desert.
Yeah.
We all have places where factories have closed down, schools have closed down, hospitals are closed down, and none of those buildings are getting utilized. And there's nothing new being built. Mm-hmm. And also we're all of the grocery stores are closing as well. So these communities don't have a way of being able to feed themselves. And we don't have access to even healthy food. Like in most rural areas, you can't even buy lettuce.
So you're dealing with packaged, heavily processed packaged foods that we all eat it, but it's
organic. Yeah.
So you got that. You also have you're working with is it West Alabama Works? What's it with it?
Alabama Career Center. I'm working with the Demopolis Career Center. Yeah, they're helping us with getting some of the stuff together for our trade force, our workforce development. And they're also going to be helping us getting stuff together with the agriculture as well.
Yeah, but now you got West Alabama Trades. What is it?
Skill Trades of West Alabama.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's helping us with our commercial construction.
Yeah, so you're running the NCCR curriculum. Yes. For now. He hasn't met ours. Of course, it's not ready.
I'm looking to. I'm very interested because anything with Mr. Blackwood name attached to it, I'm going to definitely put an eye on it.
But so you got that, and of course you have some skills for success, heavy equipment, and we're trying to work on the CDL, and that's a whole other animal. Yeah, but we're getting there. We're having the right conversation. So, but tell us. So what hooked me, man? Well, first of all, first time you called me, I was like, this is the fastest talking son of a gun I've ever heard. I thought I was back in 1988. It's a Micro Machine commercial, right? But I was like, once I figured out, and by way of Gary Weaver, I said, what are we what is this? And so you called, and we couldn't make it to the first time. The first time we ever met a person was the day we went to Hines Community College to talk about simulators.
Simulators, yeah.
And so we stopped by. But what hooked me, I was already very interested in Lashun, because I said, well, okay, he's talking the right game. And then I saw the school. Yeah. And my first thought, I'll be honest with you, and I told you this, was shouldn't you just turn this into a haunted house? Because I thought, man,
it was for many years. It was for many years.
This is a project that I don't have the courage or even any idea how to tackle. But man, Jack, you got from that first day, it was August 28th. I won't ever forget it. Until the last time I saw it just a couple of weeks ago. Like talking about putting the shine on something, man. Tell us about that building.
All right, that school there, it started for us in 1972. We had to march and fight to be able to, this was during segregation times and everything like that. And that was the first school in our community where we all had a chance to all go to school together. And there has been a pillar in our community from 1972 to 2011 or 12 when they decided to build another school and close that one down. And it has been sitting in our community just dying.
Yeah.
And it has become a homeless shelter to a dump site to wherever your local drug addicts or troubled youth want to go to and hang out. And that's what we were trying to keep out of our community. And we just, as a group, we just couldn't stand to sit there and look at it any longer.
Yeah.
It needed to, it still had a pulse, and we wanted that heart to start back beating.
Yeah.
And we came in. When I say it took 8 rollaway dumpsters, I don't know if anybody know how big a rollaway dumpster is.
I do.
All right, it took 8.
Wow.
For one side.
Oh.
To fill, just to clear it out. People will call and say, "Oh, they remodeling this school. This is just trash.
Clean up day. It's clean up day.
This is just trash." And we did that in less than 2 weeks. And from there, we just started cleaning, and we started painting. We started nailing, whatever it took to make it feel as if we're like we have to. And once it started, other people started coming in. Like once again, Mr. Blackwood and them people, because I had to learn, no matter what you want to do, you can preach all day about what you want to do. No one is going to believe you until you start putting action to it.
Mm-hmm.
And once people start seeing like, hey, they are actually doing something. They are actually trying to rehabilitate this building. So let's figure out a way that we can help them.
And that's what hooked me. That's the thing that really sold me. It was like once I saw that building, I saw the way you looked at it, man. Like a mom looking at a baby, like it was like this. I could tell like it wasn't just okay. This is a project and I'm getting paid to do it. Like this is my story.
Yeah,
There's
my story
behind this.
It is. And so and what he was saying that day was just about the mission of spreading what they're trying to do. And like telling their story and getting it out. And man, have we lived that story or not?
Every day.
So I thought we've come a long way to telling that story. Like let's let our stuff help you tell your story. And that's what I told him. I said, hey, okay, so this is good, and you can do whatever you want to do with us right here in this yard. Let's just mow it, which he got mowed that day. You already had it figured out. I said, let's just have one class and see what happens. And it was a skid steer, October 4th and 5th, and we did. Yeah, you did. And so what was that like getting? And we saw each other. I think the two programs are like, okay, 4 vets and Sumter County Skill Trades looking at skills for success. Like, how do we make this work? And so it was a huge trust fall.
Yes,
I think
when just going through getting everyone to do their work to get it there to the day when all of those kids just showed up in the yard. Like I'm a crier. I'm gonna tell you now. I got so emotional just sitting in my yard and just seeing even how my community people were driving by all day because we done had so many people from and outside of the community come in. Hey, we're going to help you with this, help you with this, help you with this. And no one actually saw the fruits of their labor. And for people to actually like, hey, they actually are working. Like this is actually happening. The response from that, oh my God.
You're going to tear up.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Don't do it to me.
I know that we can't.
This live.
Yeah, but
No,
so
no.
it is. It's not live, but so what we're looking at is a picture. I went out to my car that day. It was the first skid steer lab. I went out to my car and I was coming back and you were sitting there on the phone, and I walked up behind you and you're at the top of this hill looking down over I think there are 4 machines running and you got the class down there and you got a lake and just beautiful Alabama landscape. But I saw it and I was like, this is a moment.
The fruits of your labor.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
And
Because
so,
out of that lab, I have now got 6 who are now employed.
okay, well,
Wow.
stop the press, Vicky Vale. Tell us about that because we don't guarantee jobs, no more than Alabama or Harvard do.
Okay.
We connect people to training and connect them to employers, and you got to work it out. You got to be a fit for it. But But tell us about these 6. Like, where'd they go? What are they doing?
All right.
Go.
Some of them are still working with the city of York. Some of them now are interviewing, have interviewed or will be interviewing with Sumter County Water Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Puckett Rental has stepped up, even though, and see, that is weird because I know y'all said no Mississippi. Mississippi, we're right on the borderline. And for employment purposes, I was looking at my community and I'm like, they're right there. And Puckett is looking for 90 people right now.
Yeah.
And they just wanted them to say, hey, you got your heavy machinery.
They live in Alabama.
And you
We
still live
serve
in Alabama. They
That's
still
it.
pay taxes over here.
That's right.
So they, Puckett is looking at 2 more of our guys as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
20 minutes from his house. It's
Right there.
Is it 20 minutes to
It's
stay long?
less than that. It's 9.
Yeah.
It's the second exit off the interstate.
Yeah. So, but I saw that picture and I thought, okay, this is a big deal. So you got all the folks in, and they didn't know what this was. They didn't know the process, and just to be real fair, like they didn't understand like there's a registration and like all the inner guts of what we have to do to get somebody to the lab. Which is some of it we would love to cut out, some of it we can't. But
Understand.
But the conversations. So what was it like for you to explain to these people? Okay, well here's this course, and here's all the things you got to do. What did it take on a community, on a personal, like interpersonal level to get your folks there?
All right, to get my people there, in my community, I don't use any professionalism. I talk to them as you my brother, my neighbor, my cousin, which you are. Look, this is a chance, an opportunity for you to get certified and make a decent living and to be able to make a even better living and make this a career. I don't believe in jobs. Jobs is something you clock out and clock in and clock out of. A career is something you wake up to and happen to do every day. So you feel different about it when you have to go and do it.
Yeah.
So I gave them, this can be your life. This can be your new career. So this is what I need you to do. Come up into this house, get all this computer. Every certification that I bring to this city, you come into this class. And they don't argue with me about it. They're like, it works.
Yeah.
It works. And for another way that I was getting people, even corporations, more involved in what we were doing, while we're having a lab, I would have them be there. I would be sneaking like, hey, I need you to come and look at these trees for me. And why they look, oh, I didn't know you had a heavy machine. No, we looking for some. Oh, you are.
So funny how that worked out.
No,
Love it. Love
So what I saw
planting seeds.
Yeah, Sean. Like he's not only is he got energy, he's got a lot of smarts about how to do things without people knowing what they're walking into.
Yes.
How to make them do what he needs them to do without realizing it. But in a good way. Like they just literally leading the horse to water and convincing it to drink.
There you go.
Which is hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Funny story is like the first lab day, I went down the night before, and I think I offended Lashun because I didn't stay at his house.
Very much so.
I didn't know.
There was people there doing their
No, I didn't know
all night long.
Best friends. I didn't know that we just became best friends. But anyway, so I go there that morning at a certain time. He's like, hey, let's go get these people. I'm like, okay, what are we doing? So we get in your truck and we drive around York, Alabama. I'd never been there. But we're literally going around the neighborhoods, and this guy was getting out of his truck on the phone with one person, knocking on the door of another person, and then like it's just flopping back and forth until and I'm like, this is what are we doing?
Whatever it takes.
So this is the Lashun Wallace school bus, and but then we get back to the house and there's a yard full of people.
Yes,
and they're sitting around, everybody smiling. It's so cool. So after the first lab, which I thought was one of our best firsts, it was the first. Well, it was the third course with Selma, but it was the first one with this kind of format. And so what was the mood like after that first course?
It was a forest fire that could not be put out. It lit a fire up on me and my community. Like, everybody start calling companies, everybody like, hey, if you can continue this here, you can do this. We would definitely love to work with you all. We didn't know something like this was in our area. Can I bring my employees down, let them get certified? Because I got people been doing it for 15, 20, 30 years and don't have no type of certification behind it. And that's how some of the partnership with the county has come about now. They're interested in getting their employees trained. And not only that, it is making my community now like, hey, we actually can grow. We don't actually just have to drive 2 hours all the way to Tuscaloosa just to work, or 2.5 hours to Forest, Mississippi to work at a chicken plant.
And that's important because not everybody has access to transportation to get there, to get to a job, to get to training that far away.
And that's has been one of the biggest hiccups, just being able to get to a place to get certified, to get trained at.
Julie, how do we tell this story in a way? Really, the better question is, how do we recreate this story around the state?
Well, first, I think we tell it from the beginning. Like, we need to go out and film what you're doing with this team right here at Seed Creative.
Oh, I would love it.
Let us do a documentary about it, like how we started with you, how y'all met. Like, let's tell it from the beginning. Let's show it on film.
Okay.
And go from there. I think that when people can see it and they can see the people's lives and the reaction that they have, and talk to them about why it's so important. Let's interview these students who got a job.
Okay.
The other thing is, like we talked earlier today in one of our first sessions about impact to the family. So tell us about that. Like, why is that so important? What has this done to the family unit
For the
Sumter County?
It takes the kids to tell you. I always have youth at the house, but now it's different. Like, I'm getting phone calls. I can't walk through the school. Can we come? We just want to see. Because it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. The response kids now, everybody wants to drive a skid steer. They don't want to drive a big truck no more. Everybody wants to drive a bulldozer. I want to go fishing. I want to learn about the hogs. Like, it has opened up the kids' mind, because now they're hearing their parents have different conversations about the community.
Different conversations.
Yes, the conversations has changed.
So and man, we didn't script any of this. Julie and I literally sat down. I wrote some questions out when we got here this morning. But we've known each other for 2.5 years, and so I knew kind of where it was going. And I kind of had an idea where this conversation would go. But that phrase right there, I think is the title of your document. I don't know. They can be the creative folks, but different conversations has so much meaning.
Yeah.
And I grew up, man, I didn't live that life, but I had some setbacks, and I had some, I had to do things. But man, creating a space where people are like, okay, this is not my life. There's something different. And now you've opened that door to them. And I think that's really, I don't know. I think that's going to be the story that we tell.
I think so.
And we cry about it.
Yeah, it's going to be some tears.
Your eyes are watering.
There's going to be some food.
So we talked last time about lunch with Angela in here, and she's like, there's a place that always brings barbecue, and I didn't tell her about your lunch.
Oh,
so I didn't want to make her cry or be mad, but this guy, it was like going to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you got to feed you.
Got my mouth watering already.
It's always good food. You always gonna get 2 meats, 3 vegetables.
Yeah, so
love it.
Yeah, and it was like fresh and it was hot, and I was like, well, this is now the gold star for food. So, Julie, my question to you, and it's to put you on the spot a little bit, but we've got this kind of energy, and there are faster ways to do things that paperwork is it's what it is.
Love it. Yeah.
But this kind of a community level thing, like, do you think we could ever get to a spot where we could move faster for the college? And so the college has all the stuff they're doing, and they're going to be involved. But like, if we could cut out some of the contracts, or I don't know, like the things that slow Lashun down, that they make him call me worried, which I don't mind he calls me. But
He likes your phone call, by the way.
But like, it's like, just, okay, if we could just cut this out for everybody and just make it easy. Do you ever see a time where we can move fast like that with a regional contract or a regional lab?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've talked about that in the past, because one of the reasons the Innovation Center came to be is because our colleges don't always have those resources readily available. They don't always have curriculum. They don't always have instructors. They don't always have the facility for training, or the equipment or the supplies, whatever it is. And that was really kind of where we come into that as a resource. How can we make this easier, quicker, better, faster? And I think we're learning from that every day. And this is one of those opportunities that says we can make even a bigger impact. And how do we get there? And I think that is exactly that. It's really taking what we do and being innovative to say, how do we really train more people quicker and get them connected to those jobs? Because we know that our colleges are also offering other training at the same time. We've got a lot of health programs that have started up in our rural Alabama, but for the purpose of this is to really connect rural Alabama with jobs. So yeah, we've got to be a little more creative, and things can't be the same process or the same way we've always done workforce training, and that's what we're learning. We're also learning that there's barriers that we have to work on together as partners. And like you just said, is transportation. I mean, if we can bring the training to you instead of the training having to be taught somewhere else that's further away, it makes the bigger impact. So those are things that we're learning and how to be more flexible. And that flexibility is what's really going to make a change.
Yes, it is. And I can just say this. For these programs that y'all offer, let me say I'm glad to find the golden egg. I'm honest. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
I always see stuff like this online is one thing, but to actually know that they are real, like what you all offer, let me tell you, as someone from the community, thank you all, and please keep adding more.
Well, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
So I was just making this list. So I think by Friday we're going to have our excavator course ready. So and that I know Rob Lee's calling you now. Because I've talked to Rob Lee more in the last.
It's live, but you would think it is because of this phone call, right? Yeah.
But I first time I met Rob, I really liked him. But like he's a department of 1.5. He says, and so coming from and having done Rob's job at a different college. Man, like you get pulled in a lot of directions, and you do a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with workforce or revenue generating things. But anyway, it's just funny. I saw him calling him like it's well timed. So we have our excavator course coming out, and I'm telling you, like school bus popped, and I thought that's gonna be cool. And then heavy equipment popped, and skid steer was super popular. But I tell you, like you can't go anywhere if you play the excavator per mile game.
If you give me that excavator, I'm going to break whatever record, how many people you can get
No doubt.
signed up. I have everyone's ready for that one course
Let's go.
Because pipes are passing all over Sumter County. Right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the fun thing is like, I rented one the end of the summer to work on a project, and I never used an excavator. I used a backhoe, and I used a front end loader. I never used an excavator, and I was like, I may quit my job and buy one and go run it because it was a lot of fun. And I don't know if I'd run it or love it after 8 hours for a week. But anyway, so excavator's coming out, and you can run that just like you have everything. And it's a 2-day lab, and we'll rent the Mini X version. We're not going to rent the great big ones unless a company has them. But coming up right behind all that, we have excavator almost ready. Carpentry helper is this fall.
Okay.
Electrical helper is this fall. Water and wastewater, we're about to start building. Like we've been dancing around that because all the state things. Go ahead.
Can y'all please hurry up with
Hurry up.
I know. We hear that all the time.
They're saying.
My city needs it bad.
I know. We're talking about it.
What's going on with recent? Like back to why y'all asked me why I decided to go with these things. Majority of people, not majority, all of the people in my community that are able to do these jobs are retired, and there's no one to replace them. To get someone to come into our community to help, we got to go all the way to Arkansas, whoever's available, because we can't keep going to Tuscaloosa. Because Tuscaloosa, like we booked for the next 6 months to a year, because all rural areas are facing the same thing. There's no one to come and help you.
Yeah,
You
no
gonna
one
have to
trained and
help
certified.
yourself.
Yeah.
And we are backed up because there's no other companies coming. So until we take care of our own, we're going to keep being left behind.
Yeah. And I think that's, and Julie, speak to that model for us of taking these courses and getting that entry-level person to let the expert do that expert-level stuff. What does that do for the workforce?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think what we've seen across the state is every industry that we've been a part of building training for, it's getting somebody's foot in the door, right? Like getting them a little bit of experience, a little bit of training, some skills so that they can upskill current workforce so that they can go into the more certified positions, but they still have somebody backfilling those open entry-level positions. But what that does is it opens them up to the career possibilities, right? What's the pathway I can get on? Water, wastewater, we talked last week, kind of just brainstorming as we're building that course. There's so much exposure an individual can get, but it takes time, right? They've got to be in the field. They've got to have experience before they actually are certified. I'm going to put my fingers, quote, certified by the state, because there are environmental regulations that go along with that. So for us, it's important to know where that starting point is. And that's why when we build these courses, and Brandy and her team does an amazing job, but the questions we ask is, what is the job right now that would take somebody from I don't know anything to now I have some skills, I've demonstrated those skills, I can do this job and get connected to that work. And the quicker we can get that done, the quicker we can fill positions so that we can upskill other individuals that may already be in the industry, but they need to know a little bit more in that level. So water, wastewater is a perfect example. So starting with, I think it's grade 2.
Grade 2.
Grade 2, you got to have 12 months of experience before you're actually certified. But if we can get them in and get trained, they actually come in as an intern into the industry. We're working on getting some apprenticeship programs lined up for that so that once they get through Skills for Success training, they can get that WBL training apprenticeship match with them so that by the time they've got 12 months in, they are certified. Of course, they've got to pass the state test. But that's what's so important, because not only will that person be able to do grade 2, but maybe there is an individual with the water department already who has their grade 2. Now they need grade 3 or they need grade 4. But we're going to build that training for each of those levels because we know that upskilling is just as important as entry-level jobs.
Hold that thought.
Gotcha.
Planning note for everybody listening. After we build the grade 2 course for water, wastewater, we need to build the exam prep course for that same, because the class is one thing, but then once they have the time in, maybe they forgot a little bit, we come back to an exam prep. You were going to say
now, it's funny we're talking about wastewater. Someone from UAB just contacted us last week about bringing that to our high school, to our K-12.
We're in that.
Yes, because like I said, in order to get some of these jobs, we got to start putting this in young people's minds now. What we're trying to do ain't going to happen in the next 2, 3, 5 years, but in the next 10, 15, and 20, we can know that we can have some of these things here eradicated to where it's no longer a problem.
Yeah, I think it was Mark Barnett from UAB. Does that ring a bell? It doesn't matter. We're in on that conversation because that guy talked to Barry May at our system office, and then he's like, "Well, I think Innovation Center's doing it." Yeah. Like, okay, so we actually have some kind of call soon to plan how we all work together, because they got some different programs that kind of scales what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you this, Lashun. We're getting short on time, and Nick's going to cut us off because we talk a lot. But we have so many good stuff.
I know.
So in York, Alabama, Sumter County, West Alabama, period. If you had a person that had excavator, carpentry helper, electrical helper, and a fiber optics inside and outside installer course, if you broadcasted that to any, Indeed or employer, what would that speak to that person's hireability? What would that do for your community?
Volumes. That lets you know that someone in this area is already certified and qualified. You don't have to do as much training, and they actually can fill more than one role. That's what I try to preach to my community. You got to be able to do more than one thing. You got to be able to fill in more than one of these squares. You only just check this one box. It's going to be several other people that can check that one.
Fill up your tool belt, right?
Yeah,
Get some more tools in the tool belt.
You need more than a screwdriver.
So I want to challenge you, man. And not that you need a challenge to do big things.
I'm with it.
And I'm going to show this to Rob Lee as soon as it airs. So I want to challenge you to this. We're starting a challenge with the colleges to see who can serve K-12, the school transportation, and like school maintenance, like to do something. Okay. We got a couple of counties doing K-12 stuff, school bus driver, and CDL for the maintenance department.
Okay.
But I want to challenge you next spring to hit excavator. I want you to put folks through a series.
Okay.
Excavator, carpentry helper, electrical helper, and the outside fiber. I don't know when the inside fiber will be ready, but I want you to put a crew through, and same folks, I don't care, from the fall, but excavator, carpentry helper, electrical helper, fiber, and then for just a cherry on top, skid steer too.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. The only thing I'm missing is the fiber, because all the other things you label, I already got people that have done all of those. Besides, when you get the excavator, that'll be done. And then we add fiber optic. They're going to do that too.
The outside fiber is ready to take it from the pole, terminal on the pole to the house. Is done. We've had that maybe we're rocking that for a while. We're late to that game. But
so I'm behind.
You're behind.
Yeah.
You have to catch up. But the outside install is what we have, and we're about to build our building.
Inside, yeah.
Taking it inside inside and doing the network. So different course, but the same folks are helping us build that. I just want to challenge you to use our carpentry, electrical, excavator, skid steer, fiber.
I would love to use, because you all are accredited. You all are in every community college in the state. So I need that.
They can go anywhere. The other thing, we're pretty far along, faster than normal, is a motor grader. Motor grader course.
You want to do it?
We're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like you can be. You can be the first one.
Okay.
Motor grader.
But I do.
Motor grader.
Like,
So we got this guy named Mr. Tillery. He was our heavy equipment SME, and he's got that great Southern drawl. Sounds like he's from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. Oh, one or those.
You know, and so when he talks, like, but when he says the motor grid, you know, I can't even do it right. It's so great. It's so fun, but all those things, like just looking at your area and looking at the roads and looking at the infrastructure and like all the things that we've talked about that York needs, that West Alabama needs, really that any small town Alabama needs.
Yep.
So we got just a few minutes, man. Like, parting thoughts, like where's this stuff going for you? Where is Four Vets, Sumter County Skill Trades, where is all that going in like 5 years?
In the next 5, I'm looking to be at least 3 more counties. That's my goal. Like I told you, what we're trying to do here in Sumpter, we want to use this as a prototype or a feasibility study, or however you want to look at it, and spread it throughout the Black Belt. Because I know Sumter County is at the bottom. We're fighting for number 1 and number 2 of the worst of anything you can think of for the United States. And I know if we can make it work here, I can take it to anywhere else, and you can't tell me it can't work.
So important. Yeah.
You know, yes, all day. I don't know what else to say, but yes, preach it, amen, and let's eat, because that's exactly true. And I don't say that in like a negative way, but like.
But it's true.
But that's why these courses were built, for this exact situation of folks who communities that didn't have the resource, the colleges who just can't reach out that far because of all the things.
Nobody, you might not know how much how much confidence you have built back into my community, just from them being able to have access to be able to do these things. Just to having the thought of I can do better, has changed the way that my community is
bringing that hope back. We talked about it earlier this morning. How do we bring hope back to our state?
And it has, from fixing up the school to now having the programs going on there, that has brought back a light. Like, if you just even talk to the people in the community now, like I said, the conversation has changed. The way people feel has changed.
Yeah, I love that different conversations. I think that has a lot of life. I saw a meme this weekend. I'm scrolling way too many memes, but it said, you know, it was like what it's like to be a tradesman or be married to one. And it was like, this guy was like, hey, I built that house. I fixed that, you know, like pointing to his kids and yelling about it. But I think, and I'm not ever going to be political at work, but like when you talk about if you really want to make America great, okay, no endorsements, but you put something back in people's hands and let them say, I did that.
Yes.
What now? And I think, when talking to you the first time, I saw that potential that people are like, oh, I can do that. I did that.
And then their kids get to see, that's what my daddy did.
Yeah.
That's what my uncle did.
Yes.
And that's the field
Generational
that we have now.
That's what we're after. Yes. Because that'll change not only these families, but families across the state. They're going to learn, hey, if they can do this in Sumter County, we can do this in any county in the state.
There you go.
What's so cool about it is we've already seen there's national attention on what ACCS Innovation Center is doing. And we've had a lot of people ask, hey, what are y'all doing? Why is this so different? I have to say, number one is because our legislation, they believe in us. The funding that's been given to us to allow this to happen has made the difference, because it's taken those burdens away from somebody who I have to go fill out all this paperwork to see if I'm WIOA qualified or if I'm qualified for this level or that level. We don't even ask those questions. If we can get your name, your contact information, and you can sign up for our courses, you're in. You're in. And that's where the difference is taking those barriers away, opening those doors, and providing opportunity. And we're going to keep doing that for as many years to come as we can. But again, it goes back to our state believing in our community college system, believing that partnerships can be built.
Yes.
And it takes organizations working together to make change. It's not just about what we can do, but it's about what we can do together. And I think that's where those different connections and conversations happen.
So before Nick cuts us off, I want parting shot, man. Like, you know, this is our 4th podcast episode, right? Okay. We're shooting 4 more tomorrow, whatever. So if at some point we'll have a trend and a process, but like everything else, we're building it. So think about, and I don't want you to name names. I don't want to ever put anybody on the spot, but like think about the student in your community that, like your story, like the person that you're going to put out. So, okay, well, this is why we do this. Tell that story.
This one here, he gives me a headache every time I see him. He drives me crazy. He always wants to run and play, and he just has so much energy. And I knew once he got into this class, he was gonna be the star of the community.
Yeah.
And he has grown. He has joined any class that we have. He's in it. He's wanting to grow, and from his friends, because our community is small, have seen what he's been doing. They don't tell him, but they call me on the phone.
Yeah.
What did you do to him? Do it to me, because you have changed.
Contagious.
You have changed the way that he's still playful, but he's more
Purposeful.
serious now.
Yeah.
He has a goal now. Like I'm not finna be out here with you all at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning now. I gotta get up and go to baby class.
What are his initials?
D.
Okay.
So just leave it at D.
Yeah. So man, just immersing into a community that you don't know anybody, and being the only guy I know except for you. Man, it was so cool to watch that. I can't wait to see those folks on the next run. Next time I get to see them, you're doing good things, man. I know, like,
Very proud of you.
Yeah.
First of all,
tell everybody, like, hey, you got to go see this. And now that we're here in this studio, they're going to watch this, and they're going to latch on. We're going to tell them, hey, you need to call Lashun and go see him. And so, good things.
what's the next counties? What other counties? Ask my
The next one. All right. I want to. The challenge, honestly, is Choctaw County.
Okay.
Choctaw County. Green, because like you say, it's a partner thing. Skill Trades of West Alabama has already taken on Green and Pickens, and I believe Hill as well. And Choctaw County is another county. And Wilcox, definitely Wilcox, because they came up to one of our classes, and they're looking for us to come through and help with their 11th and 12th grade hope.
Our career tech, whatever it is, I forget his name, but Scott, no. Anyway,
Is it
he filled out
Strong?
Yes, he filled out. I think it's Eric Strong. He filled out our request form, and we're connected.
Good.
Yeah.
So he knows how to get started with us, and that's for sure going to happen. All those K-12s in that area, but all the adults too.
Yeah.
Like you just point on the map where you want to go next, and when you say go, and we'll go with you. We'll bring Gary Weaver with us, and
All right.
you know how that goes. Him and Charles Jones.
That'll be a good time, dude.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, man. Listen. Final thoughts. But this is your time. We're so excited to have you on.
And I appreciate you all for inviting me out.
Yep. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. For anyone else that's looking at their community and see that there's a need, don't be afraid to be that person to bring that need. Sometimes it takes a champion from that community in order to get outsiders to come and help your community.
In my book last night with a small group, it said, if you can't get the win, be a part of someone else's win.
Yeah.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. It's still okay.
That's you. That's you. All right, Julie. Final thoughts.
First of all, I mean, it's amazing what you're doing. Not only are you able to make connections, but that making a difference. That's what it is. And they see you as that leader. And I say, keep being that leader for them. That leader is their cheerleader. It's their mentor. It's somebody they trust and they believe in. And I appreciate what you're doing. It is going to be contagious, and it already is. And I know you're seeing that. I think it was important for you to tell your story and for us to really get out there, and I want to film it. I really do. I want to make this where people can see. But I say that to say that's exactly what we do and why we do it, is to see that a change can happen and an opportunity can be provided. So thank you for reaching out. Thank you for holding this guy accountable.
Yes,
He's
always will.
at what he does, but I love to hear him talk about what you're doing. I see that smile on his face every time. So thank you, man.
I asked her earlier, why are you still here? And just the two of us, and we talked about a lot of things, but this kind of situation is why we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this program's going to continue.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
Yep.
And we definitely need to keep people like you all around and bring more on as well.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And so, Lashun Wallace, Sumter County Skill Trades.
Yes.
All things, master of all things down there. So,
Yeah.
Julie, take it.
All right, well, take it away, closing out. Thanks again for listening and joining us today on our Innovation Unplugged. If you get a chance, please like, subscribe, and follow us on all podcast platforms. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.
Good job, guys.